back to the process, right? So what step of the process are you at now?
I'm at the step where I've already authenticated. So I'm currently looking to extrapolate my DS11 passport, which is my non-citizen passport. Right?
And so now this passport,
Yes.
Is it like a paper document like an American passport?
It's a U.S. passport.
So it's a U.
U-
Wait, so it's a
How-
U.S.
They give you a
passport.
U.S. passport, but you're not a
but you're not
citizen
yeah,
of the
but-
U.S.
Yeah. So how does that
And
make
it'll say
sense?
it will
says
say
right
on it.
It says a non-citizen passport.
Wow.
But the seal on the front cover of it
I guess
is
they-
still American.
Of course.
I guess they still need
Because
something to.
I'm occupying this landmass.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I guess since
So then, could you have a bunch of them if you went to every country you wanted to go to and had a home or something like that? You do
Absolutely.
that same process in every single one of the
Well,
countries.
the U.S. works a little bit differently because they have almost gray areas
Okay.
where you can create, for lack of a better word, you can create corporations. Remember, your Social Security is a corporation. It's the lowest form of a corporation.
I think you told us that the last episode
Yes.
that you are a corporation.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your Social Security number is your lowest form of corporation. It's the least recognized, it's the least respected. That's why it pays the most in taxes, right? That's a sole prop. From there, you go to an ITIN. An ITIN, that's a international tax number, right? That's usually what foreigners will come over with, and they will be able to extrapolate masses of credit, right? From there, you have a CPN, which is a certified private number. Those are usually for celebrities. Those are for government officials. Those are for individuals who are working with
Like diamonds and shit like that.
not necessarily diamonds, but people
that makes
who
a lot of money?
can't release their own sensitive information.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Trump won't go into a diamond space and purchase something
necklace or
that
something.
requires his social security number. Instead, he'll use a CPN.
Okay.
Oh, that's rich.
Yeah, it's not even rich. It's just access. Like you can create your own CPNs like that.
Right,
They don't-
right.
It's not an issue.
And
Like,
it'll
you can
cost-
even register them with the IRS.
And then
Like,
there's no capital barrier. It's
there's
not.
no capital barrier.
Yeah.
No.
It's like
Then-
free to do.
From there, you have your corporations, like your LLCs. These domestically hold greater precedence than any of the above prior mentioned. But beyond that are foreign corporations. Foreign corporations hold the most weight because they're recognized by NATO.
Right.
They're
Okay.
almost like their own individual states. So you can create a corporation that's foreign in your own name. You can then go to a bank and open a bank account with that corporate ID,
Okay.
right?
The
Like,
question is like where. I mean, I guess like where is the best country to open up a foreign?
the U.S.
So you be a foreign U.S. country in the U.S.
So
Well, no. So because we're using country as a landmass, right?
Yes.
Where really a country is an energy admitting its identity. If I'm making sense, it's like
I understand what you're
that
saying.
number represents a sound mind, and so the sound mind can operate as a country, but a country doesn't need land in order to exist. It's like
Okay, I
almost
got
on
you.
some like
I got you.
metaverse shit.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
I got you. Okay.
and so that's what he's.
So you would open up basically a foreign LLC, but then just use its attention in the place you opened it up in. It would have the freedom to go operate internationally,
But it would mostly
you-
operate in the US.
Exactly.
because this is where the money's at,
Exactly.
right? Like,
But just because just because they know that your corporation has the functionality internationally, they would give it a higher value than if you just made a regular basic ass LLC.
yeah, because
Right,
you're not
right.
domestic.
Right, because I'm operating under the assumption that because you're
AWS
international,
International.
about to rebrand. Where Franklin at? We about to rebrand.
We need some German lads. Any German lawyers out there? Chancellor.
See, I was operating under the assumption that because you're an international company, you have another country landmass vouching for you, which makes it higher. But you don't even need that.
No, no. The
is
U.S.
crazy.
So, for example, recently I this is all hypothetical. Recently,
course. Everything here is
hypothetically
hypothetical. Everything.
Created a corporation for a friend who's undergoing. They're scrutinizing his accounts because he's undergoing like a really messy divorce. He needed a means to be able to create, and again, this hypothetical,
We got you, baby.
a alternative account in his own name that cannot be scrutinized because it's not using his social security. Okay. So what hypothetically we did was we saw
Or
which
could
countries
do.
or could do. We saw which countries were receiving the most benefits right now. And right now, Ukraine happens to be one of those countries.
Of course,
Right?
billions.
40 billion
Billions.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you happen to, and this is hypothetical, I'm not going to say this is something people can do, but if you happen to create a foreign entity in a space like Ukraine, but have your mail received here in the States,
Right.
you now have a foreign, you have a foreign corporation that's functioning on domestic land. They give you your corporate number, everything within the same 48 hours. You get that number, you go to the bank, you get your bank account. You build your relationship with that bank knows that your corporation was formed in Ukraine, so to speak. Now you get all the benefits that someone coming from Ukraine would have gotten.
And you could do that for any country.
Any country that's in alignment with NATO.
And is that? I feel like the reason we're using all these hypotheticals is that is that in a gray area? Is that frowned upon? Is it?
No, it's just not known.
It's just not known.
amongst the individuals that come from out of the country.
Right.
Okay.
That
Because it's
literacy.
advertised to them.
Yes.
Yes,
Be-
exactly.
Think
It's
about
part
when
of
you
their
go to
culture.
when you go to China. In China, the culture is take time off to come to the States, and they give you like a small paid vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard they give them like $100K or something like that.
That's
just to-
credit they're giving you, so
Yeah.
you can occupy space over here, and you can buy real estate as a collector.
China is really gonna fuck us in the
I mean,
booty
but-
Oh
hole.
no, we're done.
They're gonna fuck us in the booty because we don't. We're going over there to fucking eat wontons.
And eat steak on a stick.
We're not only going over there to take shit over.
We're over there on the Great Wall taking pictures.
Wow.
This goes to the testament that you had stated the other day about TikTok,
Right.
right? Chinese algorithms are very different from a U.S. algorithm,
100%.
right?
100%.
Consumer versus producer.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Because we were just talking about this in a different episode. And we were talking about how like there are cultural lanes, right? Like the Habibis got the fucking corner stores,
Right.
fucking taxi
The-
people.
the-
The Indians got the meter maids. Like
The
it's just-
Indians and Chinese or Koreans, they're usually the meter maids. They're
yeah.
not,
and you would think it's because they got it, and there's a culture of making sure that when the people come over, I'm gonna give you a little whatever job at the store, and then eventually you'll have your own store, and it perpetuates. But I didn't know their country that they were coming from was giving them a nice greased up ass pat. Like,
Go on, baby. Take that money and bring it back here.
Still angering their country by
he's-
taking all their money and their bitches.
Yeah, he's saying that he knows that China does that. Now I don't know if the Middle East does that. Like,
I mean, there's remember the Middle East up until I can't say going forward. The Middle East was tethered to the U.S. by way of the petrodollar.
Yeah,
Right.
they got money.
Yeah.
so I'm sure. So they probably don't even need their people to come.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also incentivized to come here
Right,
too, though.
right.
Yeah.
Because the idea is if you can occupy the land, then
you
you
can do this.
gain an asset. Exactly.
You see, and this is why education is so fucking important, bro. Because I feel like, especially conservatives, like they're trained to hate the people crossing the border illegally,
Yes.
and that they're the ones stealing, like, not paying taxes and shit like
Right,
this.
but-
Whereas it's legal
Yes.
to do it this way.
Like the country you're fighting for, its laws
It's
allow
laws-
them to do this.
Right, it's allowed to do that. Why are you hating on this dude who's just trying to fucking survive and feed his family?
Right.
It's a necessary divisiveness because if it didn't exist, then people would start to question why they're paying taxes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's just like,
That was an annoying laugh.